Our newsmaker this morning is a key player in the debate over education issues facing Texas. State Representative Rob Eisler currently chairs the House Public Education Committee. The Republican was first elected by voters in his Montgomery County district north of Houston in 2002. He brings the added perspective of having served on the board of the Conroe Independent School District, 2 terms as board president. Good morning. Thanks for coming in and being with us. As you know, Texas is starting a new testing system next year. Would you favor a delay in starting the end of course exams to save money, as some superintendents around the state have suggested?
Well, it would certainly save money, Robert, but it's not going to help our kids in education or in educating them, because that's what we've been looking forward to. We started work on the new system probably 3 years ago, passed it last session, to be effective this coming school year. So it's pretty important to maintain that continuity. And the current test, the TAKS test, or TOKS, T-A-K-S, is getting some compression problems at the top. So it's not really measuring what we wanted to measure.
Let me put a board up on the screen here to look at. The Legislative Budget Board says out of the 15 most populous states, Texas has the highest number of public school employees, 273 per 10,000. That is much larger than the California number. You'll be filing a school finance bill that will include a funding component based on how efficiently a district spends its money. What kind of fundamental change would you like to see in the system? And maybe are we bloated in terms of public school employees in Texas?
Well, that's an excellent point and good observation. You've got a great research department. Back in '06, we had 7.9 students per employee. And today that's 7.6. If we just went back to 7.9, we could save just about $1.4 billion.
That's something that politically could get done, you think?
I think so. If you're running a business and you know you're going to get more money each year, you're probably going to make some decisions that aren't looking toward a lot of economy down the road, because since 1929 the American GDP has declined 11 times and school funding has only declined twice, and that was 1929 and World War II. So there's always been that continuous increase in funding, and that's as much the legislature's fault as it is anybody else.
The Texas Education Agency has at least 35 employees that make over $100,000 per year. Are school administrators overpaid?
That's probably not. If you take them as maybe as a total population, you could probably compare them to others. Maybe there are some that are, but I think numbers is numbers of them. And to go back to the original, increased funding every year, that you may have too many of them.
Do we have too many school districts around the state? Over 1,000. Consolidation, is that politically viable?
Well, consolidation, the way we've looked at it in the past, has been, okay, take these 2 school districts, pick a name, pick a football team, and now you have it. There are a lot better ways that you can do that. In fact, we put into legislation last, or maybe the time before, maybe 4 years ago, about school districts being able to consolidate services, have shared services. And school districts more and more are looking at that. For example, Dallas County has one bus system for all the Dallas County ISDs, and they save about $250 per student per year on that.
Of course, Texas parents are worried about their larger class sizes, school closings, and teacher layoffs. Isn't it inevitable that the quality of education is going to go down in the foreseeable future?
No, it's not. And we talked about that earlier. Today's Super Sunday, and of course those of us that think we're going to increase class size will be called Packers, and those that think we're reducing funding will be Steelers. So today's appropriate for that. But the quality of education has more to do with the quality of the teacher. And there's a study done by the McKinsey company that looked at the worldwide most efficient, most effective, highest performing school systems. And they found that lowering class size 23 to 1 to 15 to 1 at best gave an 8 percentage point increase in achievement. An effective teacher is worth 15. And 3 of the top 5 countries in the world have class sizes greater than 30. Korea has class sizes greater than 50. So class size is not the educational problem that you would think it is. And 22 to 1 was based back in, what, 85 on what the state could afford. In fact, I asked Mark White that same question, and he said that's all we could afford then. And the question is, what can we afford today?
All right. A lot of people clamoring to break into the rainy day fund to pay for education. Think that's going to happen?
Well, I think you may see some looks at the rainy day fund on the current budget. This current budget, the one we're in that ends the end of the summer, is about $4 billion down. And, you know, how many cuts can you make to balance that to get there? So I think you may see more toward that. Now, if you look at education, there are a lot of things we can do to save the money in public ed without hurting kids' education. We spend $54 billion a year, and $5 billion is, what, 10% of that?
Right. State Representative Rob Eisler, thank you for coming in. Appreciate hearing from you.
My pleasure, Robert.
It's not too late for you to join in the debate. Our political reporter Josh Hinkle is standing by to take your questions online. Click on the blue box at the top of our homepage at kxan.com or onpolitics.com to interact with us this morning. Share your questions with our On Politics panel coming up next.